It's one of the most talked about missing persons cases in modern history. When 3-year-old Madeleine McCann vanished from a holiday apartment in Praia da Luz, Portugal in 2007, the world watched with horror. The story dominated headlines and sparked international sympathy. But as days turned into weeks and facts became blurry, the public's focus shifted not just toward the mysterious disappearance, but toward the people closest to her parents. Kate and Gerry McCann have never been charged with any crime and continue to maintain their innocence. But despite that, there's a long list of reasons why millions of people still don't trust them. These are 10 of the biggest. First, toddlers left alone. Kate and Gerry left their 3 children, Madeleine and twins Sean and Emily, alone in an unlocked apartment while they dined with friends at a nearby tapas bar. Not just once, they did this multiple nights in a row. The children were aged just 3 and under. Many parents find it hard to leave toddlers in a separate room, even within their own home. But the McCanns left theirs in a foreign country, in a ground floor apartment with no supervision and no baby monitor. What's worse is that the resort had a babysitting service. They had the money, they had the option, but they chose not to use it. For many, that's where the trust ended, with a decision most would never dream of making. Second, refusing to answer police questions. When Kate McCann was brought in for questioning as an official suspect by Portuguese police, she refused to answer 48 of their questions. These weren't obscure or irrelevant inquiries. She stayed silent on key questions, including whether she gave Madeleine any medication, whether she knew what happened to her, or whether she was involved in her disappearance. While her refusal was on legal advice, the optics were devastating. In the court of public opinion, silence often speaks volumes. Most people believe that if your child is missing, you'd stop at nothing to help the investigation, even if it meant uncomfortable questions. Third, hiring a PR team immediately. Within days of Madeleine disappearing, the McCanns brought in a professional PR team to manage their image. Spin doctors were briefed, press conferences were coordinated, talking points were controlled. To some, this looked like smart crisis management. But to others, it felt calculated, as though the priority wasn't finding Maddie, but shaping the public narrative. Instead of desperate, heartbroken parents, the McCanns began to appear polished, prepared, and media-trained. For many, that shift didn't feel natural. It felt like a brand was being protected, not a child being searched for. Fourth, calm demeanor and smirking. Throughout countless interviews, the McCanns were observed displaying very little outward emotion. No tears, no breakdowns, no visible signs of distress. Instead, there were moments where they were seen smirking, smiling, or even chuckling. To many watching, it didn't sit right. Their daughter had just vanished. The world expected anguish, and instead it got composure, controlled language, quiet confidence, and in some moments expressions that felt wildly out of place. Whether it was nerves, shock, or something else, those reactions left a lasting impression. Fifth, playing tennis and going jogging. In the days immediately following Madeleine's disappearance, the McCanns were seen resuming normal activities. Kate went jogging. Gerry played tennis. Photos showed them engaging in leisure while the world assumed they'd be in pieces. Most parents dealing with such trauma struggle to eat or sleep, let alone pick up a tennis racket. These moments fueled the belief that something wasn't adding up. How could anyone function so normally so soon? For many, it didn't just look inappropriate, it looked unnatural. Sixth, polished appearance and changing earrings. Kate McCann was regularly photographed in coordinated outfits. Her hair done, makeup applied, and even her earrings changed to match her clothing. For grieving parents, especially in the early stages of trauma, most people would expect a level of emotional and physical disarray. Instead, Kate appeared composed and styled, as though ready for the cameras. Some might argue it was part of coping, an attempt to maintain normality. But for critics, it suggested an uncomfortable focus on appearance. Seventh, unsettling lines in Kate's book. Years later, Kate released a memoir called Madeleine, intended to tell her side of the story, but the book sparked new controversy. One line in particular shocked readers. She wrote about imagining her daughter being abused, describing how someone could have torn apart her perfect little genitals. It was a line many found deeply disturbing. The wording, the detail, it felt clinical, graphic, and inappropriate. There were other phrases that stood out too. She often used past tense when referring to Madeleine. Her tone was described by some as detached, almost cold. Rather than offering comfort or insight, the book left many feeling even more unsettled. Eighth, dismissing the sniffer dogs. British police brought in 2 sniffer dogs trained to detect blood and the scent of death. One of them, a cadaver dog, alerted in multiple locations, behind a sofa in the apartment, on Kate's clothes in the couple's rental car, and even on Madeleine's cuddle toy. The blood dog confirmed some of the same spots. These dogs had previously been used in high-profile cases and had solid success records, but the McCanns dismissed the results. They claimed the dogs were unreliable. To many observers, this was deeply suspicious. Why reject the findings outright? Why not at least treat them as clues? It raised the question, what were they afraid the dogs had found? Ninth, washing Madeleine's cuddle cat. Shortly after Madeleine went missing, Kate washed her daughter's favorite soft toy, Cuddle Cat. It was the same toy that had gone to bed with Maddie every night. Any forensic evidence, any scent, any DNA could have been on it, and yet it was scrubbed clean. Kate said it smelled of sun cream, but the timing raised serious concerns. It's one of the few personal items directly tied to Madeleine, and it was wiped of anything that might have helped investigators. 10th, Madeleine's cry for help. The morning before she vanished, Madeleine reportedly said something chilling to her parents. "Mommy, why didn't you come when we were crying last night?" It was a clear indication that the children had woken up alone, upset, and afraid. Most parents, upon hearing that, would have been overwhelmed with guilt. Many would have changed their plans immediately. But Kate and Gerry didn't. That very night, they went out again, leaving the children alone once more. And it was that night Madeleine disappeared. These aren't outlandish conspiracy theories or internet gossip. These are real decisions, real statements, real moments that have caused people across the world to question the official version of events. Maybe the McCanns were just extraordinarily unlucky. Maybe they're completely innocent, but with so many strange choices, contradictions, and unanswered questions, the doubt has never gone away. What about this case makes you question the abduction story the most? Let us know in the comments.